Welcome back, Arcadians. Alex here in our video. How you all doing, guys? I know it's been 3 weeks since I last did a video and I've been meaning to get them out, but we have been so busy at the museum, we really have. And not only that, my van has been breaking down non-stop. I think my van's broken down more times than Del Boy's three-wheeler. It's just ridiculous, but you know, what can you do? The second-hand market for vehicles at the moment is just crazy, so I'm sort of holding on to it, hoping this time that's the end of it, because I have been paying out a hell of a lot for that van. But you know what? It's been up and down the country, that van, picking up machines for the museum and PCBs. Been picking up some real gems, guys, some fantastic games you're not going to see anywhere else in the UK. Believe me, they are super cool, they really are. And in next week's video, me and Richard are going to do a walk round of all the games that we've got, because we need to assess what games need attention, what games need to be fixed. So that's all going to happen in next week's video. But in this video, basically I want to show you all the progress that we've made in the museum, because my son's been in there, Josh, Neil's been painting, I've been painting, Richard's been building some shutters and a nice wall, so we're going to show you all of that. And then at the end of the video, I want to show a couple of the games that I've picked up. One from Victor, it's a PCB, which I'm going to have in one of the jamma cabs, because we've got 4 jamma cabs in the museum, and we don't have enough PCBs. So I've been picking up a few games, and I've bought a nice, really cool horizontal shooter. Well, actually, it's horizontal and vertical. A bit different. I've never played it before, but it's really, really good. So we're going to play that at the end of the video. But before we do that, let's head off over to the museum and have a look at all the painting I've been getting on with and all the other work, basically, loads of stuff. So I'm just touching up the ceiling, which didn't take too long. We did the ceiling in 3 days because it's quite a nice flat surface. Didn't take too long at all, which was great compared to the walls. Not sure about that camera angle there, Neil. I think he thinks it's a pop video. Josh came in for a couple of days, helped us out. Thank you so much for volunteering to come in, Josh. He put a stain blocker on the bottom half of the wall and then carried on with painting the walls white, which was great. Thank you so much, Josh. Really appreciate that. And I actually had to repoint some of the mortar in the wall because it was like earth. You could literally pull it out of your finger. So I repointed those parts with a lime mortar, and then went over that with the white paint once it was dry. There's Richard painting the reveals black, so from the outside looking in it looks nice and fresh before the shutters are applied. And there's Richard building the shutters, so they're built out of ply and then they get cladded with the same wood that Neil's used in the cave, so it flows all the way through into the arcade. And there's Neil painting the shutters black, so from the outside looking in it all matches the reveals black, keeps it nice and fresh. And then Richard attached the shutters, and then they basically block out all of the light in the room, so if we're having a meeting or a party in the evening, we don't get any reflection on the monitors, which can really ruin your gameplay when you've just got a big spot of natural light on the monitor. You can see we're stabbing that paint in the wall. It really was difficult to paint these walls, and it took such a long time because they're so gnarly and there's so many cracks and so many holes. You really had to stab the brush in there. I've never abused a brush so much as I have done on this job. Just took forever to paint these walls, and we're still not quite finished. There's still a lot of touching up to do, but we're nearly there on the painting. And it was great actually having all the lighting in now. We've got the tracks in for the spotlights, which you can see Neil moving the spotlights along the room as he's painting. And that's what we'll do once the cabs are in there. We can move the spotlights to wherever the cabinet is, and we can shine that spotlight on the side art of the cabinet. Maybe use a lower wattage light, or maybe even a coloured light, we're not quite sure yet. But it gives us great options to throw the light around the room and give a good atmosphere in the room. And there's Neil just finishing off the back wall, stabbing that paint in those cracks. You see, just totally abusing that brush there, look. And there I'm breaking up the old step to create a slope for wheelchair access, which I later concreted in and make a nice slope. Uzi 9mm. And then we've got Richard building the false wall, which actually creates some storage in the first room. We really need some storage for buttons, control panels, looms, even just a mop and a bucket, really, because I've got no storage at all. So he's building a frame there, and then that gets cladded with a ply wood. And then on top of that, we put the natural wood that Neil's used in the cave upstairs, so it flows all the way through down into the arcade. Then either side of those two stud walls will have a cabinet and a sliding door as well, so we can get access into that little storage area, which is absolutely great. So today is Sunday. My mission is to build this path, so we've got wheelchair access if we need it. As you can see at the moment, it's not the best of entrances with all this shingle. So I've got some nice Indian stone. To lay these slabs, you can't just lay them on earth. You have to have a base. Luckily, I've got a good base because I've got all this stone, which makes for good hardcore. So I'm not taking the stones out to put hardcore back in because I've already got hardcore. Although these are really nice stones and they're quite expensive. So I'm going to move some of it out of the way, but I've got quite a height to get to. And my slabs are only 30mm at the max, so I'm going to have quite a big bed. If you get more than 50mm of sand, then it's going to crack. What you can do is mix building sand with sharp sand, which is what I do. Now, the coarser the sand, the less likely it is to shrink because the stones hold it together. That's why they use ballast in concrete, because you've got big stones in it, stops it from shrinking. So if you're laying a patio, always use a mixture of soft sand and sharp sand, and it has to be a 3-in-1 because we're underground or we're at ground level, so it has to be quite strong. So every 3 shovels of sand, you want a shovel of cement, and it's that easy. As you can see, I've put a line up, so I'm going from this curb to that threshold. Whether it's out of level, whether it's running up or whether it's running down, that's the level I've got to get to. Now, water, if it rains, I can camber the path. So I can camber it slightly to the right or I can camber it slightly to the left. Exactly what they do with roads. When you're going along a road, it's not dead flat, it cambers. So when the rain hits the road, it flows off. You know, you're not aquaplaning on the road. With this path, it's easy. I can just camber it one side and the water will run off into the stones. Now, if the water gets too much and it goes over this curb, I'm going to leave a little, what we call a French drain in front here, about 1 inch, and another one at the front here of about 1 inch. So if there is too much water, you know, if we get a real downpour, the water will just run off into the gap. So that's it, guys. Okay, hope that's a good little tip for you, or a few good tips. Let's crack on. So the path's laid, guys, but you can see it's a little bit narrow with the reveal of the door opening. So what I thought I'd do to finish it off is lay these 200 by 100 mil briquettes. They're in Indian stone as well, so it'll match the slabs along the edge, and that will bring us, well, just slightly past the reveal, but I think that's just finishes it off nicely. Plus it makes it a little bit wider. Right, that's the pointing, not quite finished because we've still got to cut it because we're doing weather struck and cut. But down the side here, what we're going to do, because the path is higher than the shingle, so we're just going to bench it. So bring the mortar down to the bottom of the stone, push it in. This gives the stones a little bit more strength so they don't just drift away. Same here, all the way along. This, and then what we're going to do, basically pebble dash it, is what we're going to do. Just throw stones at it. Just give it a slight little push and that will stick to the mortar. It just gives it a nice edge then. Guys, is just cut the pointing. You want a really fine pointing trowel, so it's nice Marshall tool, small tool. And what you want to do is just cut it, just so you feel the edge of the slab underneath. That gives you a guide for your line. Just gives it a nice, sharp, clean finish. Neat. Cut off all that excess mortar. That is weather struck and cut. What you do is give it a light brush all over, guys. And the excess mortar over there. And there you have it, guys. One path, one entrance to the Arcade Museum. All finished, all done. Look at that. Lovely fossil mint Indian stone. I think it's time to go home and grab a beer. Well, there you go, guys. I'm really happy with the progress that we've made. It looks absolutely amazing what we've done, and I'm really proud of everyone that's been working there. You've done a fantastic job. So far, and what I really can't wait for is the day that you all arrive on that pathway. That'd be the happiest day of my life, greeting you there at the museum. I can't wait for that. Not long now, it really isn't long now to go, but we've still got one more big job to do, and that is the floor. We need to resin the floor, so that means we've got to get all the machines out of that space to put this resin floor down. And then once that's done, the real fun part starts, bringing all the machines back in, arranging them, positioning them in the places that we want, and also adding the lighting, the decorations, you know, everything else that creates that atmosphere that we're looking for. So I really can't wait for that, and that's all coming up in the next few videos, guys. But next week, as I said, we're going to do the walk around. Me and Richard go around and assess every game and see what needs fixing and what games need attention in terms of artwork and everything else. A lot of them need cleaning up, so Can't wait for that. That's next week's video, guys. But as promised, we're going to play through 2 games here. These are 2 games that I picked up. One from Victor Marland, who does the 10pence arcade podcast. This is Volfied. It came out in 1989 by Taito, and it is the successor to Kicks. It's a really cool game. I really like this one. And this one I picked up recently. Never played it before. It's Terra Force by Nishimitsu. Came out in 1987. And it is a horizontal stroke vertical shooter. So this is going to be really fun to play. These 2 games are going to be in the museum. We're going to rotate them on the jamma cabs. So we get a bit of variation in the museum every week. So without further ado, guys, let's set the camera up and play through. We'll play through Terra Force first. So what we're going to do with these games going forward is rate them out of a pound, basically. So you've got 10 10p's. How many 10p's would you put in this game? If it was in an arcade, how many times would you come back to this game? You know, if you come back and you put a pound's worth of 10p's, that means you've got no other money to play any other game in that arcade. You like this game that much, you're willing to spend your whole pound's worth of 10p's on this game. So that's how we're going to rate the games going forward. So let's start her off. I already like this. I like the music straight off the back, and also like the colours in this game. So it's a nice 8-way shooter. Got fire and bomb. And I'm not crashing into any of the scenery at the moment, which is great. I hate that in some games where you crash into these stalactites that hang down. Really annoys me. I like the lightning strikes. Already there's an entrance up here which takes you into the vertical mode. I'm really going to concentrate now, guys, because I want to be really good at this game. Is that our first power up? Doesn't look like it. It is strange for a lot of people playing a vertical game in a horizontal position on the CRT. I don't mind it because there's a lot of shooters on the Neo Geo that play like this, and I'm talking too much. See, I'm dying already. Right, is that special? I got an S. It's not wearing my fingers out. Right, I'm going to go in. Can I go in? No, I blew it up. Is this an end of level boss? Looks like it. Oh, and he dies. Oh my god. I want to get in there. Let's go back into the horizontal mode. Oh, this looks like it's going to be a lot harder. Oh, just missed that. I need better firepower, guys. This is not very good. When do I get my power up? All right, okay. It's forced me up that entrance. So I reckon there's an end level boss up here that needs to be killed. Let's not wear himself out. What I don't understand is whether these gates take you further along. So there was obviously a wall there I couldn't get past, and that gate just takes you past that wall. It must work like that. I'm going to go back up there now. does keep the game very interesting. Oh, so I couldn't avoid that. I do desperately need a power up, I really do. I think this is my last life. Oh. I would say it is very tiring. It needs an auto fire, but I'm loving it. This almost feels like Xevious. I don't know, it's the music and the sound effects. $54,000. Where are we going now? In the level boss? Come on, we're in the level boss. We're underwater now, are we? Looks like it. This is cool. Oh, he come from behind. Where did that come from? I like it. It's cool. There we go, guys. 55,600 is the score to beat. That is Terra Force by Nishibitsu. Give it a go at home. Right, now next on to Volfied. Right, let's corner up. Very strange and eerie music. I like it. Now the screen on here is quite big. I need to adjust the screen so you can see the bottom half a little bit better, but unfortunately I'm not going to get in the back of the cab right now. So this creature in the middle fires at you, and every time he fires he's still. So that is the best time to sort of trap him if you can. At the same time you want to get these blocks at the bottom for bonuses. See, time stop and I can shoot. Oh, that was very greedy of me. The idea is to trap him. If you trap him in a tiny little box, he gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You get some huge bonuses. See, if I can get him down here, would be great. There is a time limit on this as well. See, I'm not very good at this game. Yes. Nice explosions. If my screen wasn't so big, you'd be able to see down the bottom, because it does show you the percentage of the playing field that you've actually captured. This one's firing at me. Ah, too greedy. It's trying to get that thing in the middle. Well, there you go. There's Volfied. Now, let's assess these games. Right, so for the sake of this video, I'm not going to carry on playing these games because it could be an extremely long video. But hypothetically speaking here, you've got £1 worth of 10p's in your pocket. You're in your arcade. There could be other games in that arcade that you haven't played yet. And you've played this for the first time. How many 10p's would you put in this game? Well, I really like this game, and I'm interested to get to the end of level boss. I really want to see the end of level boss, see what it's like. And if I do get to it and I defeat it fairly easily, or maybe on the third go, so maybe I've spent 30p to get to the end level boss, I'll definitely put another 40p in there, I reckon. So I reckon 70p's worth of 10p's in this game. That's what I reckon that this game would be worth. If I saw it in the arcade for the first time, that's what I would be doing. I really like this game, and I'm definitely going to go back to it. Volfied. This is a game I could sit here for hours and play if I had a bar stool. It is, you know, it's a puzzle game. It's very strategic. You're not bashing away at buttons like you are on Terra Force. But there's a lot to this game. There's a lot of bonuses I don't know about. There's a lot I need to learn. And some of the creations, the bosses in this are quite cool, I think. So I'd like to get a lot further in this game. There's ways of trapping the boss, which I haven't learnt how to do. So if I had the time, I would definitely put at least, I don't know, yeah, I'd definitely put 90p out of my £1 worth of 10p's into this game, just to get better at it. But I'd save 110p for another game in the arcade. But there you go. It's a funny way of scoring things, but it's a bit of fun. What would you put into these games, guys? If you had £1 worth of 10p's, how much would you put in these games? It'd be interesting to know. I think they're really cool, and I can't wait to see them in one of the jamma cabs in the museum. Anyway, that is it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and can't wait to see you on the next one when we do the walk around with Richard. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.